Hi, this is Linda Walker, and today I'm going to be talking to you about teleconference lines and how do we do group coaching on the phone. So if you're considering becoming a member of one of my groups, or you would like, or you're already registered and you are becoming a member, you want to know how you're going to access all the information, or how you're going to access our sessions. So this is what I'm going to be talking to you about. Now, teleconference lines are what I use. Teleconference lines are telephone bridge lines. They're kind of the phone lines that allow more than one person or two to be on the line at the same time. I always use American bridge lines, and I'll tell you why in a second. But why do we do our group coaching on the phone? Ideally, group coaching is not a very long process. We're talking about an hour, 15 minutes a week. If you were to have to travel someplace to go for 1 hour, most of you would probably be able to talk yourself out of going. If all you have to do is call in, then it's a different thing. It's very simple. You call in and you're on the bridge line already. So it's a very short, very easy access to the group. Now, the teleconference lines, I use American bridge lines because they're a lot cheaper. Canadian, I'm in Canada, I'm in Montreal, and in Canada, the bridge lines are absolutely ridiculously expensive. So I would end up having to charge a lot more for my programs just to pay for the bridge lines. And there's no real value added in using a Canadian bridge line versus an American. However, if you are joining us and the bridge lines are long distance for you, you do have to consider getting yourself either a long distance package if you don't already have one with your telephone provider, or a telephone calling card. There are calling cards that can be purchased. I would be very careful when you purchase a telephone calling card. You want to make sure that it's for multiple calls. They don't charge a huge amount per call to start with, because often some of them will charge you $1 before you even say hello, and then so much per minute. The calling cards that I recommend, there are two companies. Now, if you're in Canada, we're looking at torontocallingcards.com. You go there and you buy either CC, that's CICI, or First Choice. Those are the two calling card or bridge line long distance calling cards that I've used, that a lot of my clients have used extensively. They have very little busy signals, and the line tends to be very clear when you call in. So that's really important when you're going on a bridge line. If anybody on the bridge line has a bad line, it really affects everyone. If you're in the U.S., you're going to go to nobelcom.com, and there, I would recommend that you look at the reviews of the people who've used them before, making sure that the lines that you have are clear and there are no busy signals. Look at the cost. Okay, how much are they charging you? Not just on a per minute basis, but how much are they charging you to start the call? Okay, so those are little details which you want to keep an eye on those, because they can be quite expensive. If you're calling into the bridge line, the way it works is normally we want you to first make sure that you're calling from a landline as much as possible. Landline being your phone that's attached to a plug in the wall that's attached to the telephone company system. We want to try to do that instead of using the cell phone. Cell phones are getting much better than they used to, and if you've got a good reception, then cell phones are okay. You may need, if you're in a very busy, very noisy place, you may need to put yourself on mute so that you don't ruin the bridge line for everyone. I don't recommend using voice over IP phones as much as possible, because they really do. I notice when there's somebody who's using VoIP line, I notice it absolutely. As soon as they come in, I know who it is, because the line already we could see a difference. So if at all possible, please avoid using VoIP until they get much better than what they are right now, which is they're not great. The reason why we want the bridge line to be good, first of all, for anybody on the bridge line, it's really, really frustrating to hear noise in the background. Most of the people I work with have ADD, if not all the people I work with. And of course, that's going to be quite a very annoying thing that you're going to have to deal with, having all of this background noise. So we want to try to avoid that. Also, I record every session that we have. And they're available to whomever in the group could not make the session. So you want to be able to have, you want those people to be able to have a good line as well. Now, how do you call in, first of all, to the bridge line? If you're not using if you already have a long distance package, you may need to just dial directly. So you would dial the phone number that I offer you, which is, you'll receive it once a week, actually twice a week, really. But the day of or the day before our session, you receive an email telling you what bridge line we're going to be using. So there's a phone number and there is a PIN number or an access number. So you dial the phone number a minute or so before the session starts, and when it tells you, it'll tell you dial your PIN number, dial the PIN number followed by the pound sign. There are times when you'll dial the PIN number and they'll tell you things like this number is invalid or something like that. Check the number, redial it again. If it does that again, then I would hang up and call again. Sometimes you get a bad line. Don't know why. That's just the way they are. The other thing that you want to consider now, if you're calling directly into the bridge line, if you call in and there's some really bad noise as soon as you come in, then there's a problem with your line. The last person who comes in has brought in the noise. So we will need to have you hang up and call again until you get to a good line. It happens once in a while. It doesn't happen very often that we have to kick somebody off the line to come back in, but it does happen once in a while. And it's not because we don't like you, by the way. The other thing that you want to do, if you're using a telephone calling card, then what you need to do is the calling card company will send you a list of local access numbers, so local to you. So for example, if I'm in Vancouver and I have a list, I look down through my list and I see there's a phone number directly to Vancouver or from Vancouver. That is the number you will call. And what that does is it actually means that you're doing a local call to get onto a long distance package. So you'll make your local call and then do the PIN number that they give you on the page, in the email that they give you. That's the telephone calling card company. And then when that's over, it'll tell you, okay, dial your number. So you will dial the number. And I believe you have to dial 1 and then the area code and the number of the bridge line. And then they'll ask, of course, the PIN number or the access code. So you put that in, followed by the pound sign. So that's how you do that. Now, one thing I mentioned before, if there's a lot of noise, you'll need to put yourself on mute. You may have a mute button on your telephone. You can use that. Or if you don't, you can use *6. Our bridge lines usually use *6 to get to put yourself on mute, and *6 again to take yourself off mute. Most of the bridge lines that I use give me access to certain abilities where I can put somebody on mute directly from a panel on the computer. I try not to do that because it's very difficult sometimes for me to know specifically who's the noisy one. But if there's any noise at all, if you're talking to someone else that's not on the bridge line, please put yourself on mute. It's very irritating. If you're calling from work, for example, do not put us on hold, especially if you have music playing on hold lines. We've had some situations where one participant called from work and somebody disturbed her. She put us on hold and we ended up hearing music for the better part of 2 minutes. We were just about to hang up to call back in when she got back on the line. So you don't want to do that. You want to stay away from that. If you end up having to answer the phone either remove the music or hang up from us and call on or answer your phone, and then call us back in. Okay. One of the things you may want to do is invest in a headset. It'll make it a lot easier to be on the calls. You'll be able to use your hands. So the headset looks something like this one. Okay. It could be with 2 ears. It doesn't really make any difference. I don't care. Whatever. It could be even just a bud. But what you want to make sure of is that you have something that has the end like this, that attaches to the side of the phone. A lot of the phones have a section. Now I've got a special phone here, but have a section in which you can plug in, so that you can be on the call without having to be holding a phone the whole time, which can be tiring, irritating, and definitely doesn't allow you to write very easily. I'm going to take that off right now. Okay, so I don't think there's anything else I need to tell you, but other than have a great time on our bridge lines. We will be talking about in the next calls, how do we work it out so that people aren't all talking at the same time and it's not just a big mess. So check out the group coaching ground rules video for that kind of information. This was Linda Walker. To your focus, action, success.